here in the top left-hand corner of the map in Tomb Valley, we have our green Protoss player from Isurus Gaming. It is Capoch. And his opponent in the lower left, or lower right-hand corner, my apologies, is our pink Zerg player, winner of the last 2 games in a row. From Team Light, it's Caliber.
All right, Entombed Valley, PVZ. This is a map that we tend to see sometimes longer games, lots of macro options available, and vortexes actually can do a lot of good on this map, basically around those choke points near the third bases and near the naturals. So if this game does go longer, I think, you know, Archon toilets are a possibility, Banelings in mass, and Festers in mass. Hopefully we'll see some crazy stuff. Or
a 10 pool.
Yeah, Caliber could just rush him. I mean,
we may have a 5-minute game.
It's possible.
Yeah, we've noticed that. I know we said this a few times on IGNProLeague stream before, but it used to be that Zerg players just hated playing on this map against Protoss players. 2 base attacks can kill my third. It's so easy for them, blah, blah, blah. Or it's really easy for them to take a third. Then we notice a market shift as Protoss players, as they tried to play a little bit longer games, Zerg players just kind of sat back and said, all right, I'm just going to let you kill yourself on all the stuff that I have up. So there, Overlord is coming up, and as soon as the spawning pool finishes, we will have a lot of links start making their way out, and Capoch will have to prepare for that.
Well, Capoch does have that forge first, so as long as he doesn't waste a whole bunch of minerals on a Nexus, which sounds weird, but if he does actually manage to hang on to some minerals and try to get some cannons down, he will be in much better shape against these first rounds of lings. But it's kind of, you know, it's kind of weird to not build a Nexus when you've already got that nice forge set up. Oh, he is actually going to put up a gateway as well. He's not going to be able to make a full wall off by any means, but he is actually being a little bit more cautious than he otherwise would be. Is he hiding a probe? I think he is hiding a probe in the main.
Yes, he is.
Okay, behind that tree, that sneaky tree that we noticed on this map previously.
He may actually be able to full wall, by the way, if he puts a building right here. So looks like he's pulling a few probes off the line for now to start forming in a wall, as the photon cannon is less than, or is just about 10 seconds away from finishing.
Man, Caliber got totally found out, and he is going to pay the price soon. His build order already being countered quite nicely by Capoch, even though they haven't even started fighting yet. More minerals being gathered means he's going to have an easier time defending. As long as the worker is holding minerals, they build faster, they attack faster, they run faster, they jump higher.
Josh is incorrect about everything when it comes to StarCraft 2, so those are all not facts.
But I know movie quotes. Come on.
We do give a lot of movie quotes. We've seen a lot. We have a lot of pop culture references. I just realized that.
That's true. And that's good, because that's how you build flavor into a cast.
That's true.
Instead of saying, you know, the Zealot is punching the Zergling, you make it into a boxing metaphor. You talk about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Or Rocky.
Or Rocky, or, you know, Sylvester Stallone as Rambo, and then you just keep going, and
That's
Expendables, and then...
Essentially, we're just playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon every time we cast.
Yes, so. Except it's 6 degrees to wherever we end up instead.
That's correct.
That's my favorite game. I'm actually 1 degree from Kevin Bacon.
What?
I've hugged the man before.
Oh, I thought you meant you appeared in something with him.
No.
So
he shot a movie in Columbia, South Carolina, where I went to college, and myself and some of our friends went to the set, and we watched some of the filming and stuff like that. And he did actually come over and you know, shake hands and take pictures and stuff as well. So
nice.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon, pretty cool guy. You know, a lot of Hollywood celebs after doing a day of shooting will just retreat back to their trailer and do whatever it is they do. Read Twitter, I guess.
Kevin Bacon, footloose. All right. So Capoch, that's a 4-gate, and it's going to put on a lot of pressure here in just a second. It's obviously coming pretty late, but it still may catch his opponent off guard. He's still got that pro buried inside of Caliber's base.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I mentioned to you guys that so Capoch is South American. I don't want to 100% say whether he's Chilean or Argentinian. But it's one of those. Killer is Argentinian, right? Or Chilean?
I don't
Dang
know.
it.
I don't remember.
I have to look it up. Okay, well, either way, Katz is Peruvian.
Correct.
So Katz and Capoch actually had a bit of a rivalry from Brood War days, and in the beta of StarCraft 2, they played each other a bunch because they knew each other well from Brood War, and they kind of disliked each other, so it was always fun to beat the other guy. So I agreed, actually, I cast a best of 7 between Capoch and Katz on maps like Desert Oasis and Steppes of War, and Capoch would hide pylons all the time, every time. And that's what he does, man. He just builds those pylons. He loves to abuse warp-ins on ledges and inside other people's bases. And here I see he has not changed even over 2 years later from facing root cats back in the day. And here he comes with a bunch of zealots and a sentry already.
God, that is a lot of units already sitting out there. A bunch of drones being pulled off the line, and force fields down the ramp a little bit. Looks like the sentry does get picked off first of all. Nice job with that stalker sitting on the high ground, so we can eventually pick away the spine crawlers and such. Looks like the spine crawler will officially go through the first pylon, though. A lot of damage is being done by Capoch.
Capoch actually just drilling down all those drones, actually enough so that the spine crawler didn't have vision of that pylon anymore. So it's actually going to stand even longer. You see that spine crawler just sitting idly. He can't even see the spine crawler or the pylons anymore. So Capoch actually doing a good job preventing any units from getting close enough. Now again, looks like that pylon is going to go down, but there's still one behind the tree line. So unless he gets vision of it, he's not going to be able to take it down. This queen getting a transfusion. Okay, it looked like he was in risky business there.
Yeah.
20 supply difference actually for a brief moment there between Caliber and Capoch.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, and it looks like Caliber may have to give up this base. I'm not actually sure. Trying to pick away the sentries. Very nice job there. And Capoch is really, really close to just kind of outright killing his opponents. There are a lot of Lings out now, though. A bunch more did just pop. In addition to that, we have a Roach on the way. So there's going to be some firepower here for Caliber eventually.
Yep, and Capoch is not actually doing any more warp-ins at the moment.
Did he just transfuse? Yes, he did. A Ling.
And it's still alive, so I'm sure he's very happy that he managed to catch that transfusion and stay alive. But now he's got to serve some greater purpose, right? Because he was chosen.
That's 10 drones against 28 probes, by the way.
Yeah, it's a staggering difference. Capoch should be quite comfortable with what he's got going on here. His economy has been unhindered this whole game, so he's still warping in things back at his main. He's got 4 gates up and running, gonna destroy this supply depot just for funsies, pretend he's playing PvT for a brief moment. Die, Terran, die, I win.
that's exactly what he said, too.
Yes.
Die, Terran.
Die, Terran.
Okay.
Villains.
Well, Nexus is about 65–70% of the way finished. He's got a robotics facility coming up, and things are admittedly very bleak for Caliber at the moment. He can do nothing but drone. He's got to pray that another attack doesn't hit him here in just a bit. Looks like he's clearing up the destructible rocks so he can eventually put down a third, but man, he's really far away from that point.
That's right. He is. He needs to sneak some more I don't know, drones out, really, because what is he going to do? Otherwise, he's not going to be able to keep up with chrono-boosted out probes, especially if Capoch builds another Nexus at his third. That's going to put him even further ahead. Only 7 gas right now for Caliber, so this game is basically reset with Capoch just being ahead. I mean, Capoch is actually Argentinian.
There you go.
He is currently a member of Isurus Gaming, obviously.
Right.
And if you, fun fact, if you Google Capoch StarCraft like I just did, the first video result is Capoch versus Huck, number 68 on Ask Joshi on YouTube. Ooh. And I remember that game. It got a lot of views specifically because Capoch and Huck played a game on Metalopolis where it came down to the last Zealot. It was Zealot versus Zealot, and they were hitting. They would run in, hit each other, and run away to get their shields back up. And they'd run in and hit each other. They were both down to like 1 building and 1 Zealot each. And it was like the goofiest. It was like literally, if you speed it up, you could play yakety sax and just have the Zealots like run around in circles at each other. Yeah. So that actually was a really memorable game, and I'm sure Huck hated Capoch after that.
Probably. Well, no attacks in any way, shape, or form. Capoch just doing the when you're ahead, get more ahead method. But Caliber has been able to put up a decent number of drones now. He's still back by 10, but 36 drones is a pretty good amount. Investing in those evolution chambers. Finally, some additional gas, and maybe thinking about a third base here in a second. But Capoch is going to check and see. Oh, there's nothing there yet.
Well, Liquipedia is just awesome because it's bringing up all kinds of other little bits of trivia about Capoch. Apparently, he began to play competitively in RTS at the age of 14 with Age of Empires 2. And he said he chose Protoss because the first time he watched a match of StarCraft 2, it was a 4 warp gate rush, and he thought it would be easy to execute. So some things never change. One more little fact about Capoch, his original clan ID for StarCraft 2 was Inflow Capoch.
That's right.
And if you don't know, our own Alex Kahn, formerly of IGNProLeague, was the manager of Inflow Gaming. They also produced players like Minigun and another more infamous player like Spades.
Right.
So a lot of history throughout StarCraft 2. Capoch started right at the beginning of beta, along with many other very well-known popular players.
Well, Caliber's trying to do whatever he can at this point. Third base is finally on the way. He's got a ton of spine crawlers up at the front, and his creep spread is actually quite effective. He's being pretty efficient at getting that out there. It's going to be pretty easy for it to deny with an observer since they're just kind of going in single lines rather than waves. But he's still, you know, trying to do his best to kind of stick around. He's got a lot of gas built up. Aspire's on the way, so he will be able to start playing that Muta style. But now Capoch is going up to his own third base. He's got a really defensive position set up, and he's still on 49 workers, which is actually now down to his opponent.
Is that 7 gateways total now? Is that just 3 more that he added on?
I think so.
I think so.
I'll check, but
inside the main, are there any additional?
So.
Okay.
No,
oh, actually,
just 7.
Oh, okay, just 7. So he's got the Twilight Council's already done. Blink is about halfway done, and with 7 gateways, he's going to be able to crank out just tons of stalkers, especially with that third base now getting established. He's transferring over some probes now, but Caliber trying to get on even footing still after that initial attack from Capoch.
Well, that's a lot of spine crawlers.
That is a decent number of spine crawlers. I don't think any probes are going to be sneaking in unless Capoch builds a warp prism. Let's do that.
We'll find out.
Do it.
Capoch, though, sitting pretty effectively on 3 bases. I love the placement of the Spire. Of course, it does. Sometimes when you're passing over it at a glance, it can look like a spore crawler or a spine crawler. Yeah, popping up there. So, love that he's taking the extra little time to just make sure it's hidden.
Man, I remember when the Observer used to make all these cool noises in Brood War. And beep, bop, boop, beep, boop, beep, bop, boop.
It's like a mini Blitzcrank, basically.
Yeah.
Fourth base coming up for Caliber, but Capoch is already on top of this, and he's got a forward pylon ready to deny that.
Oh, he is ready to go, and obviously hatcheries, while they're still building, have a vision range of 0, so they cannot see that pylon sitting right there. Even though it's so close, it's still so far. And Capoch is probably just going to warp in a handful of stalkers, kill that off, and probably just run away. Oh no, the Observer gets spotted by an Overseer and the Mutalisks. He actually is on a course to head over to that base, so he might be able to discover this pylon with the probe, but it's still a little bit below where you would normally see it.
So there's a fair number of Mutalisks out there. 3 more are on the way, and this is not a bad map for that mass Mutalist style. Starve your opponent out, keep them pinned in and stuff like that. A lot harder to execute when you're down by 50 supply.
That's true. Everything regarding that is true, especially down 50 supply in PVZ as opposed to ZVZ
yes.
or even ZVT, because Protoss units basically just hit really hard and live a long time. So you're normally going to want to be 20 or 30 supply ahead of your Protoss opponent just to be considered equal at the later stages of the game. Lots of mutas in the air, killing off pylons, but the Zealots are going to manage to kill that hatchery without many problems, and it is such a cheap solution to kill a hatchery. 300 minerals there is all it took to cancel out that hatchery, and the pylon is going to go down well, and 100 minerals for a pylon, I guess. But here come the first wave of Blink Stalkers. There's quite a lot of them. They actually do save the pylon, so warpins are still possible. Pretty crazy that he managed to save that pylon and still continue this assault.
All right, 14 mutas in the air, another 5 on the way, and the Spine Crawler Forest is just, well, really, really strong. It's 17 Spine Crawlers wide, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to hold all these forces at bay. With Thermal Lance, of course, the Colossi are going to be able to sit back and outrange the Spine Crawlers, but maybe, just maybe, the Mutalisks will be able to force them into an engagement.
Well, the other problem here for Caliber, though, is that these cliffs are very wide, and all these Stalkers have Blink, and all the Colossi can scale cliffs already, so if he manages to get an Observer in place, or even gets a Stalker up to the top to grant vision, then the rest of the Stalkers can just Blink right in there and try to do some damage. Caliber being very gutsy here. He knows that it's going to take Capoch a while to try and get through that Spine Crawler force, so he is actually going to do a counterattack with a bunch of Lings, and actually the Mutas did not join him for the trip. They are going to double back and try to make up their mind here.
Yeah, they're actually not sure where they're going to go. So here we go. Caliber, he's finally using that Spine Crawler wall. Actually, it's working out pretty well for him. It's delaying the forces for a little while at least. The Mutas are kind of running free inside of Capoch's base. This pylon could get depowered pretty quickly, and thus no more Colossi would be able to pop out. But we have kind of a crazy base trade situation.
That's right, and Spore Crawlers are able to attack Colossi, obviously, because they are massive units that can be hit by air. And oh, actually, they're the only massive units that can be hit by air. I don't want to confuse anyone, but these probes are actually going to get all locked in to their mineral line and killed off, and this trade is actually going not horribly for Caliber. I mean, once they get into the main here and start picking off vital tech, things are going to get interesting, but all that anti-air of Capoch being at the bottom, now depowering all those gateways, this huge number of Mutalisks, I think Caliber may have made the right decision here. He might not have been able to stop those Stalkers, but he's definitely doing a ton of damage to Capoch's base. All
right. Well, the a Nexus goes down once again. It looks like Capoch is just trying to bunker up with a million photon cannons inside of this base. If he can pick off these pylons in pretty short order, he'll be in a good spot. But another one pops up as well. But now there's this really nice spot where Caliber can just sit back and pick off this Nexus in addition. Right. That's going to put him down in just one base.
Back at Caliber's main, though, he has lost all of his hatcheries except for one at the third, and he's lost all of his tech. Lots of drones being burrowed there, and he doesn't have much money saved at all. 33 minerals and only 47 gas, but he is making a hatchery in the top right, as he just pointed out. And wow.
This is the last base for Capoch. How many probes are alive?
Yeah, how many harvesters, excuse me, not users.
They're there.
Look at all those users. They're still alive. He is finally going to leave Caliber's base to come back and try to respond to this, but that muta number is so high, and of course they can just run away. They can just fly off of the sides of the map where Stalkers can't follow, even if they do have blink.
What a weird series this has been. And
Dark Shrine is coming up right now.
As well it should be. And so say we all. Okay, well, all the warp gates are pretty much gone. There's 3 up at the front. It looks like Capoch did build another one. The Dark Shrine's being constructed, of course, in addition to the massive wall of cannons that's being produced there. This is just a little bit crazy.
All right, so now that Caliber has basically finished his duty at the base of Capoch, he doesn't want to attack into the 10 cannons and all the Stalkers and Colossi that are remaining. He does have, how many drones does Caliber have now?
He has
35.
35.
Wow, that's more than I thought he would get away with, but Burrow actually just saved his skin there.
Yeah.
He was able to burrow all of his drones, save them at the main, and just transfer them over to this remaining hatchery. He's also got the top right base. Looks like it is actually thriving now. It's got basically full saturation, and these mutas are essentially the only thing keeping him alive if Capoch were to go and try and attack right now. Dark Shrine is going to finish here too, though.
Oh, so he is going to need detection. It looks like there's a Spore Crawler inside of the main, so unless there's something that's able to be warped in or a Warp Prism or something like that around the side, it looks like Caliber is going to be okay against these. He should be able to reseat that Spore Crawler in time. And he's going back up to Lair Tech anyway, so he will have Overseers available once again. Does he have any on the field? No, though, at the moment.
What a huge difference that one Spore Crawler makes. Like, if it were a Spine Crawler, he would be dead. If, it was, if it's a Spore Crawler, DTs can't do anything. So,
right.
Total reversal of fortunes there, just because that that Spore Crawler is there. It looks like the map coverage, Kala leaves the game again. Map coverage is okay for Capoch, so he's able to track the movements of these Mutalisks at least a little bit, even though he does lose a pylon for that privilege. Capoch only up by about not even 20 supply anymore because of these huge numbers of Mutalisks.
No, okay, he doesn't know about the Dark Shrine either, so nothing really to tip him off that. He is going to supply block his opponent again. Oh, there's a DT trying to make its way around. A couple of them, as a matter of fact, just trying to pick up on these bases.
The DT has not discovered the top right bases yet, though.
That's right, and he's going completely the wrong way. So he's not going to find it in the very near future anyway.
Oh my goodness, that actually could just change the entire course of the game. Had the DT stepped a little bit north and spotted that creep, things would be vastly different. It looks like Caliber is setting up a hatch at his natural once again, and the DTs, actually 2 DTs coming into this hatch. He's not going to have any Overseers ready. 2 of them are morphing right now. I don't know if these DTs are actually going to be able to finish this off before an Overseer gets in range. There they are, actually, so Mutas are going to be able to pick off both DTs without losing the hatch.
Really well done, and Caliber's now mining off of 4 bases. He's all of a sudden back on 4 bases, even though he's down in supply at the moment. Looks like these DTs now being turned into Archons. Of course, Archons are going to prove to be very, very effective against Mutas. If Mutas even clump up a little bit, they're basically 2-shot by Archons. So, 3-shot actually, I'm sorry. So, they lose their life very quickly, though.
That's true. Spire is rebuilding, so he can build even more Mutalisks. 2 Dark Templar are being warped in, but he's going to have a tough time using those DTs, except this giant band of Stalkers that keeps roaming around. I feel like Capoch might just be better off rebuilding gateways. The DTs are really just not seeming to pan out right now, but if he's actually only got 3 probes on gas still. He took 3 off.
Yeah, this is, honestly, this is not a good position for Capoch, though. I mean, he's going to be mined out of this pretty soon. He's got to get another Nexus established pretty quickly, but he doesn't have a lot in the way of being able to defend against these because the Mutalisks can just keep picking off bases here and there. Looks like they're going to grab another pylon kill. Wow.
Yeah, he's going to have to confront the Mutalisks or try to expand and just sit. Otherwise, he is going to keep losing all these structures around the periphery, and this Dark Templar not going to be able to do anything. The Overseer's parked right over the top of those Spine Crawlers. Gets that killed off with no problems. Caliber did get supply blocked somehow.
Yeah.
Overseer, I suppose, being picked off by the Blink Stalkers. But, oh, wow, Capoch on the move now, using those DTs to make some Archons, as suggested earlier, and he is going to perhaps try to confront the Mutalisks. I really feel like that's going to need to happen.
Yeah, he does have a much larger army than his opponent because he's so far down in workers for now. That means that his army strength is so much higher. So he can force an engagement, he can pick off one of the hatcheries, but again, nice job of dropping down and securing those drones off to the right-hand side for Caliber once again.
I did see a drone die to Archon fire from the splash of the extractor. It's kind of interesting. The big key to this entire game right now, if Capoch goes in here and kills this base, he's still not going to win yet because there's 2 bases that he hasn't even found out about yet.
Okay, well, really he needs to whittle down a couple of the Archon numbers because those are the ones that can go through this space so quickly. He finally does manage to pick off one, but here come the Mutalisks now just slowly going to pick off these pylons one by one, starting to depower a couple of the cannons as well, but there's a lot of pylons up and around the corner.
Yeah, so Capoch thinks he's about to win this game, I believe, or at least set himself up a lot better, but he's actually down 30 supply, and he's down a base. So this actually is very, very misleading. Capoch destroys that layer there, and probably is feeling pretty good about himself, but there's 6 mutas still in production. Like, yeah. Caliber's really not slowing down a whole lot as a result.
That's so many mutas in the air, 40 at the moment.
Wow.
They're all going to be joining up, so there's another 10 of them.
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no vortexes like we talked about earlier, but we are still seeing a pretty late game PVZ here, just passing the 30-minute mark with 40 Mutalisks in the air. What are the upgrades on those Mutalisks?
Oh, he's got to make sure that they don't clump themselves up, but a very nice job to pick off a couple of units there, and just +1 attacks for now.
No Archons here. These are all just Stalkers that return home. The Archons were busy doing whatever it is they were doing, but now with 40 mutas against just Stalkers, I feel like they'd be all right. That many Glaive Worms bouncing around is just a huge amount of damage, not being mitigated by Guardian Shield or anything like that, and Capoch slowly losing everything here.
Oh my God, but the Archons are catching up, and that splash damage does so much. As you can see, what are the upgrades to these Archons? +2 attacks, they do 43 damage every shot in that splash, so...
Wow, yeah, you could just see the health bars get chunked away there by that one Archon attack, so Caliber will need to be careful regarding those. DTs...
Oh no.
Did he discover this? He must have.
Oh, these DTs. Okay, there is one Overseer, but there's really no units that are there to attack.
Wait,
so
hit V.
Okay, well, let me take a look here.
Yeah, still hasn't seen him.
But now he will.
But now he will. But he's not in any position to stop this, really.
No. This is going to be a lot of dead drones, honestly.
Interesting. So one DT sneaks in there. The other one is going to just follow him in and try and kill as many drones as he can. Perhaps try to kill the hatchery and try and seal the deal, so to speak. It's 100 supply to 65, obviously with that large amount of Mutalisks all over the map. Caliber has much more map control. Even if his hatches go down, he's got 1,600 minerals in the bank. He can build 5 more hatches if he needs to right now. So Caliber's still looking in pretty good position here.
Okay, and he's got, yeah, those 2 bases down to the bottom right. And I'm going to see if those, or bottom left, I'm going to see if those have been discovered yet. They have not. And the DTs did die. Yeah,
the DTs died, but so did the hatch, so it's going to slow him down just a little bit. Again,
it's a weird game.
Oh, what is happening here? 8 Spine Crawlers?
And 2 Spore Crawlers.
2 Spore Crawlers, okay. Good coverage there for detection. He knows DTs obviously have come and killed his hatches a number of times now, so he's going to defend himself quite well against that. But like we said, also, he's got enough for as many hatches as he needs, and he drops 2 more on the opposite side of the map, not inviting the DTs to check out that other side once again, and the Muta's chasing down anything that leaves Capoch's base.
Okay, so this was weird. I mean, just the whole way that don't forget, this started from a 10 pool into a 4 gate, which almost killed Caliber outright at the beginning of this game. He was down half the supply of his opponents. down below 20, I believe, at one point. So the fact that Caliber's even in this, much less, just has this huge flock of mutas that can continue doing damage is remarkable.
So we know that the DT knows about the top right area because there was a hatch there that it killed. Colossus stuck behind the minerals. That's actually the one thing that can't walk over mineral lines for some reason. So the Colossus did actually get stuck there. He's leading his other one. He's leading with it, which is kind of weird. It'll soak some shots and get the Archons in a position, but I can't imagine you want to do that anyway. No. So we know the DTs know about the top right position, but I don't think they know about the top right natural area that's being used still. So if you grab a DT there, hit V, yeah, still doesn't know about that base at all.
Well, looks like he's trying to pick up on this
Changelings, kill him.
They cannot betray.
Yeah.
The hatchery's going to fall here, so at least Capoch is picking up on some of these ancillary bases, but for the large part, they're all still producing.
Can you imagine like a Changeling Zealot like hitting something is just like jelly? It's just like, he's just made of like goop. It's
just gross.
And you're like, dude, what's wrong with your psi blades? He's like, and you're like, oh, that sounds bad.
Oh, wow. So these mutas are fine with taking a little extra damage, just poking in, but this force is just getting so small for Capoch. I mean, unless he's able to just destroy the entire flock of mutas with 2 or 3 shots from the Archons.
Do it.
I don't know if that's I don't think that's a thing.
If he blinks his Archons forwards somehow, it's probably going to happen. Oh, wow, there's a lot of green units up at that top right. What could it be? Oh, it's Changelings, of course. Yep. Of course. Never mind.
Well, the DT did kill that base.
Nice. And, doesn't know about the other one, though, below him.
No, he does not. And that one's not mining, but it is. Well, no, these drones they're on a long journey.
All right, so the drones will start their trek north as they do each winter.
That's right, migrating.
No, they turned around. They turned around.
Okay. Maybe.
Poor Changelings. Let's watch them expire, because that's going to be the most action that we see here.
Yeah.
What happens with Changeling when it expires? Do they die like Zealots, or do they die like Changelings?
Die like Changelings. Okay. They still have the Zealot pants on.
So they just kind of like splatter oddly?
Yes. So 15 seconds. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. So as the mutas continue to pick off structures across the map.
Oh, God. We're going to have Changeling Masquerade.
No, we got to watch this.
No,
I'm sorry.
We
have to watch this.
Nothing happened. You just skipped the death of 4 vital units. Now we don't even know what happened to them.
Well, it's 3 bases up for Caliber. Capoch is almost mined out and just sitting on 12 workers now. Things have gotten pretty disastrous for him after the start of this game. Oh, God, that could have been very, very bad for Light.
Neural Parasite being researched now. Really?
Nice.
Do you need that? Do you need 12 infestors in Neural Parasite?
Of course you do.
At this point in the game.
I believe that's a fact.
He's got more mutas than Capoch has units.
Don't forget, he had 2,300 gas banked up or something like that. So
that's true.
12 infestors is 1,800 gas of that, I believe. So now 15 infestors. So
can you hit you?
I can.
60 drones against 12. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so there are more mutas.
7 now.
There are more mutas than Capoch has units on the field.
Correct. And looks like Capoch is just going to make his way up. These infestors have enough for fungals.
They did.
There we go. Now finally starting to drop down some damage, but that's actually just a lot of dead infestors.
All right, so the mutas, basically those infestors need to do something against the Archons. I think they basically did not enough to the Archons.
Correct.
But the mutas do have free reign at the base of Capoch right now because, again, Capoch seems to think that if he just kills this hatchery, he'll be good to go again. He doesn't realize he doesn't have any map vision across the rest of the map. There's 10 spine crawlers here waiting for him should he ever discover this base, not to mention those infestors sitting right behind. Here he's finally streaming in, sees the creeps, sees the spine crawlers, and knows that it's going to be tough to attack into that.
Well, we're about to cross the 40-minute mark now, and well, I mean, Capoch, I mean, he's got to make something happen. That's the problem, because he can't bust out of his base. I don't even know if he has enough minerals left over to mine that he can put up another Nexus. He does, but just barely.
All right, so if he tries to drive the action and fails, it'll be a GG, though, so he doesn't want to do that. You don't want to drive the action and then fail and then GG.
That's right, but
that doesn't feel good.
Now Capoch can not drive the action and accumulate 60 drones and still force the GG.
That's true. 1 DT being produced. Let's see how he fares.
Trying to take out those bases. Oh my God, that was a lot of damage.
Come on, one more.
Oh boy.
One more blast. You'd see so much muta blood.
That is the problem going up against those Archons. Nice fungal pinning some units down at the bottom. This Colossus, 37 kills. Certainly done its work.
Yeah, Capoch did warp in that DT earlier, and I have to imagine it would be more effective as just another Archon, but he is not going to see that hatch again. He's just checking all his bases. Now he has doubled back. He is going to find the hatch. Gambit leaving the game, feeling a little bit bad for Capoch, it looks like, or maybe he just has better things to do.
Cards, stuff like that. So,
yep.
Another Spire coming up. This is the 3rd or 4th made this game. I've lost count.
Cards, I mean, cards. Yes. Cajun cards.
Yes, true. Yep. Lots of them. So, Twisted, by the way, League of Legends fans, Twisted Fate is just a rip-off of Gambit.
No, he isn't.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
Dude.
So, totally rip-off.
Nope. He doesn't use a staff.
Archons did take a little bit of damage there. Didn't really do much to the Spine Crawlers, unfortunately for Capoch. Oh, a fungal pinning down a lot of those Stalkers up at the front. The Mutalisks have taken some damage, though, down to just 16, but they're going to get a Colossus. And there's really just a handful of units here for Capoch now.
Yep, all these Stalkers still getting into various levels of health deficiency as they're yellow and red and orange all over. The Mutas, of course, can just walk away and regen their health slowly but surely. And right now, 14 Lings, 5 more Mutalisks. Range upgrade, ground range upgrade. What is he using that for infested swarm eggs?
No mining and not enough for a Nexus, by the way.
No mining, not enough for a Nexus. Distance mining is happening right now, but he keeps attacking into this base. There's no defense here. Cancel, big old cancel. 300 minerals coming right back to the bank, and he is going to kill the hatch again. I don't know where the Mutas are. There they are. I'm not sure what they're doing, however.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got to think, well, maybe there's another base up somewhere. We've got to check this out. But no, it's actually not.
If he made those 14 Lings, yeah, that is a nice blink. If he made those 14 Lings, so he could actually just kind of deposit them all over the map and just keep one burrowed. We know he has burrow, so he could just burrow one at each other mineral line and make it even really, really annoying for a Capoch to try to expand. Actually, if he did that, that would be a stalemate win because he wouldn't be able to place a Nexus until he got Vision.
That's right.
Like, yeah, so let's do that.
Oh, but now all the probes are dead, so he can't build anything.
All right.
He would actually have to build probes to long-distance mine to put up a Nexus.
And he's got no other option, so...
It looks like he's just kind of messing around with these Stalkers off to the side now. Oh, that would have been bad if that fungal growth landed. So, Stalkers running around the left now. I don't even know if he has enough power just to go through the Spine Crawlers and Mutalisks that are sitting here, much less the rest of the army that just kind of keeps picking him apart.
Caliber, just kill him. He's killing off the assimilator there, the pylons, the gateway is probably going to be next. He just doesn't want to attack into that column of cannons because that's what happens. You lose Mutalisks, and this is just so weird. I don't know what Capoch is thinking anymore.
It's he's thinking he's never going to give up.
Never going to surrender. Never going to
run around and hurt you.
Run around and hurt you. You know, never.
Make you cry.
Would
say
he
goodbye.
do those things? That's right. Well, that's a list of things Rick Astley wouldn't do.
Yeah, Capoch, much like Rick Astley, though. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They do share something, I'm sure, some trait.
That's true.
Everyone does.
Well, I mean, not giving up and you know, running around and deserting you, stuff like that. So.
Mostly that stuff.
Yes. Well, that's another base mined out for Light. He's running all of his drones down to the bottom left now. He can put up another hatch pretty soon, actually, if he wants.
He can put up 4 more Spine Crawlers. He can put up whatever he wants.
If Corruptors coming up. There's nothing that those Corruptors can attack, and we don't have a Greater Spire yet. They're just going to be there for corruption.
They will be able to corrupt targets.
Correct.
So there's that.
See you later, Queen.
The Queen doesn't want to live on this planet anymore.
That's true, much like Professor Farnsworth.
So she's going to burrow, hide her head in the sand.
Hey, we
like an
do
ostrich.
Indeed have a Greater Spire morphing in.
Look at
So
that.
we're going to see Broodlords. The natural 2 Broodlord 50-minute attack.
Yeah, man.
Off of 2 mining bases.
Yeah, man. Oh, look at this. He finally found an angle to kill this Nexus that isn't doing anything.
That's right. Archons are actually going to roll through and kill this base again.
Dun, dun, dun.
They still don't know about this one.
Dun, dun, dun. That's pretty bad.
Nexus has gone down now.
All right, so this is all the buildings Capoch has left. If he just kills the pylons, he'll have free reign to kill everything else.
Yep.
Will he do it?
He's being revealed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, Caliber's going to make his way back in. He knows that this is it now. I mean, that's literally all the rest of the building. So he could just kind of duck in with a few units and suicide them and take out the pylons, and then
there's
you know,
5
just kind of win.
Those things kill lings really, really fast.
That's a fact. Oh, there he goes. Takes down 2 cannons. He's winning the war against the cannons. And this is just one of the bases that are left, so he's got to manage this fight as well, but that's a lot of spine crawlers. The infestors dropping down some goop, and Stalker's taking some pretty good damage there.
All right, it looks like finally this game might have a resolution. The Mutas have backed off, but all Caliber has to do is hold this attack, and Capoch must GG. This is his last remaining force at all on the map, so the Mutas could run in and try to kill the cannons, or he could just try to hold this attack and win via Capoch not having any units.
Yes. He can actually duck in, and I still believe he could DPS down the cannons eventually.
There
we
with
go.
The infestors with full health, infested Terrans can just tank all the damage.
That's what I was waiting for.
And this will be all she wrote.
Yes. 50 minutes in. But I do think that this is going to be all. Once these buildings go down, that is the end of the game.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Last photon cannon is up. It falls! Hooray! And everything else going to go down here in a second. Once these last couple of structures fall, that is going to be the end of the game.
Not the Dark Shrine.
Yes, the Dark Shrine.
Anything but the Dark Shrine.
All the structures.
Okay, so Capoch plays the longest game in IPTL Amateur Division history and is eliminated, but GG still. He at least GG'd.
Throws out the GG. Oh my God. Caliber has put LighT one game away from advancing into the round of 8.
That's right. The score is now 4-2